Hi everyone, it's Norman Kochneck here for Eyes on Cricket. But Azam's joining, I'm joining, well that's good. It is a privilege and a pleasure to be here with you today on the third day of the test between Australia and, of course, not Australia, I want to get this right, with Pakistan and Sri Lanka, or Sri Lanka and Pakistan. This match is being held at Galle, third test in a row at Galle. Australia played Sri Lanka there twice already and they've had a 1-1 situation. This match is pretty much even as well. And it'll be very intriguing to see how Pakistan and Sri Lanka go about this day. In fact, Sri Lanka are slightly ahead, 1 for 4. Well, they're 40 runs ahead effectively. They're 1 for 36. Amazing match so far, in particular Babar Azam. Babar Azam, of course, scored 119 when his team was down and out. 7 down, in fact, looking like they're going to be well below the Sri Lankan total, but in fact they inked out a total which was only 4 runs difference in the end. So Sri Lanka all out for 2-2-2 with Dinesh Chandimal once again scoring 70 odd runs. He scored well. Then Pakistan had reeled after some good bowling by again Pravath Jayasuriya. Pravath Jayasuriya led the attack, taking yet another 5-wicket haul. In fact, his first 3 innings in Test cricket, he has taken 5 wickets plus each and every time. Effectively then leaving Pakistan in tatters. But then he got some tail end resistance, in particular Babar Azam, and he was the last man out at 119 with a score on 218. 119, the score was actually 218. So there are 4 runs in arrears to the Sri Lankan total. So effectively Sri Lanka led by only 4 runs, which is a very slender lead going into their last 15 or so overs, where they inked out 36 more runs, lost the wicket to Jimith Karunaratne, who's gone cheaply in both these innings, and effectively Sri Lanka are 1 for 36, some 40 runs now in front. Human, hello, you're there. I can see. No, is it Surman? Is it Surman? My apologies. Just quickly, while I've got you, the Australian squad for a somewhat lesser important set of ODIs between Zimbabwe, Australia, and New Zealand. The team squad, or the actual squad, has been announced. Adam Zampa returned after his wife gave birth to a child. He was there for that. Pat Cummins is actually rested for the ODIs. And the likes of Marcus Stoinis, Sean Abbott are back after injuries, and Travis Head now is taking his turn on paternity leave like Adam Zampa did. So there's some interesting changes. They're all ODIs. They're all going to be held in places like Northern Australia, as in Cairns, and I believe, if I'm not wrong, in Darwin. So they're going to be in Northern Australia, so that's basically tropical. So that's probably the reason for that. And Marcus Stoinis, Travis Head has his rest. Meanwhile, bowling coach Dan Victoria will entirely staying at the 100 as coach of Birmingham, thus missing both Australian assignments. So we've lost a few people there. But look, Adam Zampa's back. That's always a positive. I do like Adam Zampa quite a bit, and I think he is an important part of Australia's short-form future, on the near, current, and future. And I think these games against Zimbabwe and New Zealand, you would argue these 50-over matches are really quite, I'd hate to say unimportant, but they probably are. Well, they probably have some points clarification there on that, which Australia probably is quite happily in a position to handle. And I would argue that, Zimbabwe might be one sort of force New Zealand. Whether they feel their full side as well is another question you have to ask. And then there's no guarantee that they'll have their best side either. So, that's another update there for you. But going back to this match is very, very delicately poised. Sri Lanka's got their nose in front, and the fact that they've got Sri Lanka's got their nose in front, and the fact that Sri Lanka have the nose in front, and also the fact that Sri Lanka are batting third, and therefore Pakistan will bat last, is probably the crucial thing. It'll be over, you would imagine, well within the 5 days. In fact, it's into the third day, now we're into the third inning, so your chance of it being a long performance is very unlikely. Just a word of thanks. We've had, at this stage, 786,000 people view the video that I uploaded regarding Baba Azam and his acknowledgement of Virat Kohli, and I appreciate the fact that both sides of the coin, that is, Pakistani and Indian followers, have all liked that. And look, quite frankly, it's a magnificent story. Baba Azam's a polished gentleman, incredibly sophisticated man. He scored his 7th Test century in a very difficult situation only yesterday. He respects Virat Kohli and says, no, he shouldn't be dropped. And, I agree. I really do, because I don't think you can drop a man of that quality. I mean, he's not going well. I mean, Kapil Dev's been hard at him and saying, it's based in form, and there's even this commentary from people all over the world saying he should be dropped. Well, I understand why that's being said. The form is not great, but maybe he should relinquish the ODI and the T20 format and stick with tests. That's my thoughts. But he's still hitting the ball very well. He's not having any luck. He's nicking balls out to the left stump that probably a lesser man would miss. So, I'm not hardened. That there's a lot more cricket to be played. I would argue that, or should Dave Warner retire? No, he's not doing that well. Steve Smith's not batting that well either. He got a century, yes. Pujara, Rahane, they eventually went. But Kohli's been a major contributor to the side for some time. So, I'm not about to say he should leave. I prefer to look at it in terms of ways of just getting this overall team structure right. That to me is more important. That's where the real issue is with any team, is this team structure, not about one individual player. That wasn't a great selection. What do you mean? Sam, do you mean the actual ODI teams? Sports with HJ. So what do you think should have the minimum target with Sri Lanka? 273 is a safe score in this third innings. Well, they're 1 for 40 up now. Look, England came out and scored runs towards the end, and Australia did too, and even Sri Lanka themselves have scored runs on similar sort of pitches. So yeah, you would think that Sri Lanka would like to they can get as many runs as possible. There's no upper limit to their runs. They probably would like to get 275, 300. Yes, I would agree with that. I would think they probably need to get even more than that, because Pakistan, even though they didn't do well the first innings, very capable upper order. They can easily turn them on. Yeah, now. So yeah, the selection of these games, these ODIs in. Whereas I've actually got the email, the media release from Cricket Australia, as a matter of fact. I can read it out to you. No, I'd say that. Let's read this quick. Okay, so the nationals. I'll go through this for you if you like. Ben McDermott and Josh Phillips should be in the squad. Yeah, I quite agree. This is some very strong selections. Dave Warner again. I don't know what he needs to be playing up there. Okay, the National Selection Panel, NSP as they're abbreviating it as, has named the following men's squad for the one-day series against Zimbabwe in Townsville and New Zealand in Cairns. So they're not playing in Darwin. I'm wrong. It's actually in Townsville in Cairns, which is very much northern New South Wales, northern Queensland. This is in August and September. Now, August is effectively winter. Effectively, they have playing in winter is bizarre. Norman, when Sri Lanka jersey is, what Sri Lankan jersey is that? That's actually Arjun Ranatunga's jersey, the one he wore in the 96 World Cup. So Australia, Aaron Finch is playing with Sean Abbott, who's come back after Ashnagar, Alex Carey, Green, Hazelwood, Labuschagne, Mitch Marsh, Glenn Maxwell, Steve Smith, Mitchell Starkey needs to rest himself. Stoinis, Warner, Zampa. So Warner, to me, could be rested. Unbelievable. Some time than we need. And this time, you're right. I'm going to answer the phone. I'm going to tell them off if they're some bogus. Hello? Who's this, please? The who? Oh, God. It's a great grab. It's a great grab. Someone asking stupid questions. Okay, so just a bit about what's happened. Leg spinner Adam Zampa returns following the birth of he and his wife Harriet's first child. Ashton Agar, of course, had a side strain. Returns. Silnover had a broken finger. He returns to rejoin the squad. Test captain Pat Cummins is actually being rested, or managed, not rested. They're using the term as being managed through a period of rehabilitation and physical preparation for the upcoming summer. Travis Head will miss the 2 series for the birth of his first baby with partner Jess. So Travis Head's missing, and I think he should have been in the squad anyway. Mitchell Swepson, Josh Inglis, Jai Richardson, and Matthew Kuhneman drop out of the ODI squad that last went to Sri Lanka. So why would you drop Josh Inglis? I don't know. New NSP chair of selectors, which is in fact George Bailey, a former Australian player, said these series against New Zealand and the world's #1 ranked ODI side, which is New Zealand, and Zimbabwe will be good contests and provide an opportunity to play some great cricket in the lead up to the home summer. Okay. It's like they're trying to excuse themselves. The team is excited to be marking the start of a huge summer with these matches in North Queensland. So the games, in fact, will be against Zimbabwe August 28th and 30th, first in Riverway Stadium in Townsville, instead of third again in Riverway Stadium in Townsville. So 28th of August, 31st of August, and 3rd of September. Then the 6th, 8th, and 11th of September, we've got games in Kazali Stadium in Cairns, day-nighters against New Zealand. There you go. Yes. Why George Bailey's not given a chance to new players? Sam Hills, I don't know. I think this was a perfect opportunity to do so. He's virtually kept to the identicals. No one knew in that group at all. And in fact, Warren Smith and the only one that's been given rest is Pat Cummins. But yeah, there's a bit of a strange one going on there, I'll tell you. It's all very intriguing indeed. So I'm going to just try and pull up the Sri Lanka Pakistan match for a moment. The reality is, I mean, Labuschagne, there's no innovation, there's no development there in this squad at all. At least against Zimbabwe, you can try next to new players. I would agree. I would totally agree. Emma Viner, reviews on Punt and Pandya, magnificent innings to win the. Well, let's talk about that. Yes, Rishabh Pant. People have been knocking him on occasions. Well, I don't know why. He's a brilliant player. He's still 24 or thereabouts. He's batting well in all formats. Century was magnificent. He outshone everybody. He was fantastic. And Pandya, we all thought he was gone based on his injury toll, that he was out of form. He was in the IPL, he was captaining a team there, and that was where he's going to stay. Well, he's returned to the Indian team with vengeance. He's fit, bowling well, batting well, great asset to the side. In fact, he's bowling. The short balls are magnificent. How would Don Bradman have played today's type of cricket where there are 3 different formats? I think he would have handled it perfectly, but he would have been an absolute champion. Absolute champion. I don't think he would have had a problem. He was the best player in the world in any sport at any time. So I don't think it matters when he would have come out. He would have been good in any era. He would have adapted, he would have adjusted, he would have been fantastic. He was the most successful athlete, sports person, more the word sports person ever in any format, whether it's golf or tennis or basketball or any other sport, baseball, whatever. He was the best. So there you go. I don't think there's any concerns about that at all, to be honest. He would have handled it beautifully. You didn't see Warner or Finch open after 2022. Well, I have them, no? Many times. What do you mean together? No, sure they have. Absolutely certain they have. Anyway, one I think so should make at least 250 in Pakistan is gone. Well, if Josh Surreal bowls like it has in his first 3 innings, taking what? 15 wickets, 16 wickets. Amazing. Yeah, this Puff Josh Surreal has certainly come to the fore. And they're bowling Agar Salman. He didn't bowl the first innings at all, but he bowled the second, which is intriguing. And they've got the night watchman in there, Shalom Custom. Rajita is with Oshida Fernando. So they put a night watchman, which is, fair enough. Not a big fan of night watchman, but anyway. So they did say that day 2 did belong to Baba Azam. He certainly did with his century as he shepherded the tails to take Pakistan to 218. 4 short of Sri Lanka. They were 112-8. I didn't realise it was that bad. That's Pakistan were 8 for 112. They were able to get another 106 runs with 2 wickets to get close. So, and it was also, as I said before, Baba Azam's 7th Test century. And it was a world-class thing that only he could construct. I would agree, that's right. Bubba's done a really missed mighty Australia teams of 2000. What should Australia cricket team need to be a team of the quality again? It's going to be a generational thing, Bubba, I think. It might take a good generation or so for us to get anywhere near that level, to be honest. That's just, you can't have good teams all the time. You need to go through periods of growth, and I think that's a fair comment. You just don't have that. So, yeah, we've got the game coming up at 2:30. So Sri Lanka really missed a chance to taking a big lead. Yeah, well, they didn't get that many runs, did they? Really? Okay, that they could have got Pakistan out for 120, and would have been 100 in front. Yes, that would have been good, but I actually don't know whether it would have really mattered that much, because it's going to be go down to the wire, this match, I think, quite frankly. 789,000 people looked at that video from 2 days ago. I'm quite shocked. If only all those people who viewed it also hit subscribe, I'd be laughing. Don 007, how are you? Helen Orms, back after exams. Oh, you had some exams. What were your exams, Don 007? Tell us how were your exams. Anyway, let's have a look here. I'm just trying to find the preview. Here it is there. Okay, already kicking off with a good start. Okay, so my honest feeling is who's going to win this match. It's very difficult to say at this stage. Sri Lanka are in the ascendancy. They have to be having a team all out for 218. They're 223. Only 4 runs in front. They're 1 for 36. Therefore 40 in front, which means the runs they get now will have to be made by Pakistan. Why is Pat Cummins not playing versus Zimbabwe and New Zealand? It's rehabilitation, which really is a resting of his body. He is a bowler, a fast bowler, and he plays every single game as captain. When the chances occur that he's going to rest, they take it. And I think it's a good thing. So it's not really he's injured; it's more keeping his body in check and ready for this big summer. Yes, you are right. I think what made Australian teams so special is their consistency, passion, discipline. Is my favourite team. Well, they are. They work well, very well drilled, mentally very strong. They have a history of expecting to win, and they play accordingly. Let's be honest, mental strength is a very big thing in any form of cricket. It's not only about how good you are, it's how well you prepare yourself physically and mentally. And that's probably one of the issues with Kohli. I mean, he's just mentally not quite there. He's had no luck. The schedule, please. The schedule's there. Okay, let me get the schedule up. Hang on. Someone's asking the schedule. I did actually talk about the schedule. Let's go from the Cricket Australia. These are all games in August and early September. Not very far away at all. Well before yeah, and Usman Khawaja's not there. That's a great point. I'd argue there's a real question mark. Labuschagne's just not a good short form player, nor is Travis Head, and nor is Australian need. What would Vera do to regain form? Emma Ivana, to be honest with you, I would say it's all about mental preparation. Can't wait because Cam Green could be impressive with the ball and bat in this series. Well, let's see how he goes. What should Virat do? I guess I was talking before. Virat should actually mentally accept and let more balls go. He's still nicking off our off stump. And he's going to physically let the ball go. Australia needs to search for new openers. Both Warner and Khawaja are on the wrong side. No, Don, I don't agree. Khawaja's got a lot more career to go. I think Warner's the only one that's some doubt. They got Renshaw, Street, Pekoski, Honey. We have got a few. Kenroy Fearon, all the way from Jamaica, is here. Norman, I think Sri Lanka will win this Test match. On any over 300 will be hard to battle. I agree. It will be hard to score over 300, and Sri Lanka are 1 for 36, and they do know their conditions, don't they? And they bowl, particularly when they got Australia out very cheaply in the match there. They know their Gore pitch. You would think that this should be Sri Lanka's victory at this point because they're 40 runs in front. Only on the third day, they've got plenty of time to get Pakistan out. So anything around the 300 mark will probably be well and truly enough runs. Yeah, and I'm not expecting Pakistan to win the first match, but Pakistan may grow from experience the first match and do a lot better in the second, so we'll wait and see. We'll just wait and see what happens. Is Cameron Green next Steve Waugh in Australian cricket? More like a Andrew Flintoff, I would argue, than a Steve Waugh. Steve Waugh didn't end up being an all-rounder as such. He was just almost an out-and-out batsman. So, no, I don't think he's like Steve Waugh. I think he's more of a Flintoff, perhaps, or even of Stokes, hopefully. Sam I don't know about others, but Pekoski is talented. He's certainly the future, but his concussions are a big problem there. More than just a big problem, they're an overwhelming problem, to be honest with you. Overwhelming problem. Let's see if we can get any traction there. Let's look. Why is it so hard to bat last in Asian countries? Because of the spin, because of the track biting and spinning more, and that's the reason, Kenroy. It's not like in West Indies or Australia where pitchers tend to hole up for the whole 5 days. In the subcontinent, they don't hole up at all. So it's a bit of a typical thing. I mean, the SCG is a bit like that too. The wicket becomes It's brittle, it breaks up, coarse, puffer dusts, more grip and turn, in a lot of cases more sharper turn. A slow delivery takes a different direction. It's a minefield. Don Renshaw, he is really good in India. He is now as a raw talent. Hunt is really good opener and hit 130 long. Look, Renshaw's been around already. He's already scored centuries at test level, so he's proven. Steve Waugh was a dominant, successful captain who is underrated. It's not easy to beat for anyone to be Steve Waugh. It's virtually impossible. Steve Waugh was, like Alan Border, were very unique Australian captains. They were tough as nails. Nothing ever. They really hardened Australia up. Actually, made Australia what they were for generations, as a matter of fact. So. Yes, it's going to be interesting. Very interesting indeed. So we've got still about half an hour to go. It's getting. You got Arjuna Tonga, tough captain, and then you got over here. You've got Don Brabham signed. A lot more actually. A lot of stuff back in the rooms. Baba Azam is the key. Baba Azam is the key. Let's go back there. Come on. It's the key for Henderson win. If Sri Lanka get Azam out early, there should be some of the chance. Yeah, I agree. Although it is so hard batting last in Test match. Have you realised more teams are winning Test matches when they bat last? Well, England's breaking that norm, yes, but they're winning that not on a spinning track. They're actually winning that on a location which is, in England, and they're used to it. And they certainly are. But Australia got done batting last against Sri Lanka only recently on this pitch, so there's good evidence. Cam batting and bowling both are similar to Waugh. Right-handed batsman and bowler both Waugh and Cam. Yeah, they're similar in that way, but Cam Green's about 6'8". Waugh was about 5'0". Well, he wasn't that tall, at least. No, there's not a lot of. I don't think the similarities are minor, really. We are not getting results in these two-match Test series. There's always 1-1 and should be 3-0. I totally and utterly agree. Am I wrong? Why you're playing two matches when you don't play three is beyond me. Absolutely beyond me. Is there batting to depend on Barbara? Not really. In the previous Test series against Australia, Enzamam al-Haq and Shafiq and Mohammad Rizwan all batted very, very well. Azhar Ali as well. So, no, I don't agree. I think they've got a lot more batters than you imagine. Just that Barbara Rizwan pulled his finger out this time more than they did. He batted particularly well, didn't he? I mean, let's be honest. Batted fantastically, as a matter of fact. Absolutely fantastically. Yes, all right. Pakistan batting is not, again, Bumrahzam certainly is a major part of it, yes, but he's not necessarily the only player. That's Azhar Ali, experienced, scored many centuries and double centuries. Shafiq and Imam al-Haq have been fantastic openers. They've got 3 or 4 batters and Rizwan as well. Probably lack another batter. But they're trying to find that place in the side. Ken Roy, if you're a Norman, will you live vlog when India comes to the West Indies? Absolutely. Absolutely. You let me know. Yeah, they're coming up. They're not long away. Absolutely, I will. Absolutely. I'd like to be there. It would really, really good. Be nice to see that for sure. Yeah, well, so we're looking at another. Okay, let's look here. A lot of good things happening with the. So, yeah, this game is very interesting. It's going to be a bit action packed today, I reckon. Good morning, Kavish Maldinia. Good morning indeed. Well, in fact, it's afternoon here in Australia, but where you are in Sri Lanka, it is what now 9:30, isn't it? 9:30. So 9:38, as a matter of fact. Here on Ulithagamwaga, what is your favourite batter in a stronger batting line? I'm an Ross Dickwella fan, to be honest. If not him, I don't mind Angelo Matthews. I don't mind him at Dinesh Chandimal. But I'm more of a man that likes Ross Dickwella. The Alchemist. What do you think about Rishabh Pant? Absolutely, always thought highly of him. Magnificent player, incredibly beneficial to world cricket. He's the next Adam Gilchrist. Well, he's not. He's the first Rishabh Pant, not following Adam Gilchrist at all, but he'll be his own man. Which team has been best bowling line at the time in tests, ODI, according to me? Well, test cricket, best bowling lineup. Gee, it depends where. Certainly, the Indian bowling lineup's right up there. The New Zealand bowling lineup's very good too. Yeah, I'd say India, but for the bowling, ODIs, what's a hard one? I mean, England can be good. India certainly are as well. Australia, T20 at the moment, Australia. Why everyone forgot about Curtis Patterson though? He has the century against Sri Lanka. And he's up there with Jason Sangha. The two blokes that should be in there as well. You're right. Is Mitch Marsh playing in that ODI series in Zimbabwe? Apparently he is. Yes. Chanel's really playing well first 25 minutes. Yeah, he's in great form. And on the Galle pitch, and he's going to play another test at Galle too. So it's going to be hard for Pakistan. My favourite batsman, Don, is Dimuth Karunaratne. I know Dimuth very well. He's a great bloke. Good captain. Solid batter. Hasn't done well in this test match, though. But yeah. Love you, buddy. You have done a great job. I am a big fan of you. Thank you very much, The Alchemist. Thank you, guys. I really appreciate that. It's nice to have people that appreciate what I do because I put a lot of effort in, and it takes a bit of organisation, but it's good. We've got $790,000 people have seen that video. 700. Wow, that's an impressive number. You know what video I'm talking about, don't you? The Bubba Azam one, just less than 2 days ago, I put up. It's got 790,000 views. Wow, impressive. Brendan says Josh Philippe is really impressive in T20 Blast and Marsh Cup. Why didn't he get a chance in the international? Well, he's knocking on the door. So is Josh Inglis. Not far away. I think Virat Kohli take a break the wrong time with West Indies is the right team. When you were out of form to play and get back into form, did you remember when Jack Cullis and Andrew Strauss was out of form? Yes, okay. But if he needs a break, he needs a break. I think Kohli knows pretty much what he has to do. He's getting good advice. I'm sure he's all right. MR Vine, according to me, best bowling lineup, Test Australia, ODI, India, T20, England, Pakistan. That's pretty good summary. I would say that for sure. Very good summary, actually. Indeed. We're going to 18 minutes before this match starts. Yeah, I mean, it's a good situation for Sri Lanka to be in. They won for 36. They're 40 runs in front. They get 200 to 250, more like 250 or more, and I think they're going to give Pakistan a hard time. Don Douglas, I would say that these days players don't give domestic cricket the respect it deserves. I mean, Ashish Nehra came back after the age of 37 in 2016 by playing domestic cricket. Look, age is not the issue. It's the capability you've got still to play. Roger Federer played until he was, 39, 40. James Anderson's still playing, and he's virtually 40. Form's got something to do with it. I think Warner's waning a little bit in form. Kawaja's coming through a purple patch. Steve Smith got a century in the last match second last match here in Galle. Yeah, it's interesting. It's hard to know exactly what to think of that situation, to be honest with you. Very hard to know. But with only some 16 minutes to go, obviously the batter's in at the moment. Oh, my South Sydney Rabbitohs won yesterday. I went to see the match against the Bulldogs, Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs. They won the match, and obviously the rugby union, both Rapakshi and Shimona and I went, and my son Christopher. And we saw Australia get beaten by England, which is not much fun to see. I'm not into it that much, but yeah, it was a bit sad to see them get beaten. Indeed. VJ Murgot, how are you? Norman well said about Virat, who was the favourite for the T20 World Cup. You'd have to say Australia because it's in Australia, but India and Pakistan are other teams. And England maybe the fourth team. Well, I think if Virat Kohli doesn't score a century by the end of the year, he might just retire under the pressure and mock him now. And you know, okay. I think that Kohli will probably, if he doesn't get form out of his skin, he may get rid of two of the formats, the T20 and the ODIs. He might just stick to Test cricket. That's my prediction. I'd say he's going to retire from T20 cricket post this World Cup. It's in October, November, and the ODIs next year as well. I think he's pretty close to retiring from those two formats, but Test cricket, I think he'll go on for some time longer. So he should. Now, Indian players who play international cricket play domestic cricket. They can play domestic to gain form. True. Sri Lanka is in the driving seat. Yes, home conditions, not 1 for 40, and spinning pitch, and Pakistan has to play for. Yeah, it's totally in Sri Lanka's favour. Sri Lanka would be very disappointed if they lose this match. I don't know. Hard to know. At this late stage, Sri Lanka are in the box. They always were in the box. As soon as they won the toss, they were in the box seat, and that's the issue that Pakistan are going to face. But the second test, with Pakistan having some experience in the Galle pitch, I'll fare better. But at the moment, it's Sri Lanka's to lose is the best way of describing it. Sri Lanka's to lose. Yeah, so this fairly small series in late August. Hello?
Hello, is that Norman?
Who's speaking?
Norman, it's Jessica Henry here from Gordon Women's Cricket Club in Sydney.
Yes, how are you?
Good, thank you. How are you?
Very well. Yeah, I'm just can't talk right now in detail. I'd like to talk to you. Can I call you back in about less than half an hour?
Give it a go. Yep. Otherwise, just leave the voicemail.
Okay. No, actually, we can discuss it now if you like. I've got some female cricketers that I bring out internationally from overseas to Australia, looking for clubs to place them. That's the main reason why I've got the whole.
Yeah, I had a couple of questions about it because I was most interested to understand the visa requirements of sporting visas have changed substantially in the last couple of But the sports visas have changed in the sporting visas I'm aware of. It'd be helpful
Sorry about that, guys. I had a conversation with someone about female cricket, so I couldn't talk to you about that. Okay, all right, where are we? Let's have a look where we've got. Yeah. Rizwan needs to support Bubba. So does Azhar Ali. So does Imam Al Haq and Shafiq. I mean, they won't get support from Nasser Shah every day. No, you're right. Nasser Shah is their last batter. Shouldn't be getting support from him. So you're right, totally right. All right, so we're getting closer and closer to the whole thing. So all right. For Pakistan to put up a fight, every batsman should contribute. Absolutely. Absolutely. Norman, it was sad to see. It was sad to see. So I was saying Alistair Cook, Graham Smith, Dale Steyn retired too early. I think Steyn could have gone on, yes, and take 5 wickets. Cook could have gone further, got runs. Yeah, I agree. Graham Smith, why don't you through probably the most dramatic person name-wise left out of that list is actually Kumar Sangakkara. He played county cricket beyond his retirement, scored centuries left, right, and centre. Could easily have actually threatened Tendulkar's title to the most runs, to be honest with you. Very good points, though. Alistair Cook retired too early. Dale Steyn did. Graham Smith did. And Mike Hussey did the same. Mike Hussey started very late and finished early. And then obviously we talked about it there earlier about Kumar Sangakkara. He's another one that really warranted yeah. Anyway, it's a very interesting dynamic here. What's Monthly doing here? Because no, it was very impressive indeed. So Steyn is my favourite, and yes, Sangakkara I feel was one of the best unrunner batsmen, the most more valuable than well. Quite frankly, he could have outdone him if he just decided to play a bit longer. Dynamic game. What's your Indian performance in white ball cricket against England? India did fantastically well. Unfortunately, England were just red hot on the day. The Bashas Mohanty's here. Now, I'm wise are not giving chances to informed players like Tim David, Ben, and Nathan. I don't know. I honestly don't know. It's a pretty clear statement that Tim David's unlikely to be included in any of the series because they had the perfect opportunity to blood them in this series up there, and you know. Okay. Yeah, so it is true. It's pretty emphatic that they're not going to use Tim David. Ben McDermott is still in the mix, but it wasn't beyond me. Why Warner and Smith are doing it, I have no idea. Yeah. You think that James Anderson, Ken Roy, Theron, Norman, I think James Anderson wants another crack at the Aussie Ashes, and then before he retires, he wants to reach 7 wickets as well. Well, if he's a good enough player, he should be allowed to, but he's not. I like the idea squad. Do you, Robert? Why do you like the squad? Tell us why you like the squad. I mean, I think it's just smacks to the same players. Yes, we've got some 6 minutes before the match starts. So it's getting very close. Hardik Pandya is the key for India when it's fully. He certainly has become. He was bizarrely out too. How would you analyse Babar Azam's batting technique? It's perfection, incredibly good. Chiefly to Bali, clueless in the moment. I have to kind of agree. Maxwell is in, Sampers back, no head. Well, I like those, Robert. Those 3 selections I'm very happy with. But I think Warner and Smith should also rested. Yeah, Maxwell in, Zampus and back, and yeah, I agree with that. Good. On Australia, ADI team is an ageing side. Yep, that is true. Very, very true. Very, very true indeed. I'm not down in that for a minute. Yeah, it's a very Australia's team is an ageing team. Well, I agree, and I think even in India, on occasions, they've actually gone to that level where they kind of overplay their hand a little bit, meaning that they allow the players to go to the absolute nth degree. It's often about money. I hate to say it. Often about money. Often about money. So day 3 is only 4 minutes away from starting now. Okay, so Ken Roy Fearon says, Norman, do you think Glenn McGrath did have at least another year left in him? Possibly. Well, Shane Warne certainly did. Yeah, they probably did, but they left on a high. Respect that. Respect it greatly. We've got to remember a lot of players who, legends leave on a high, and we can all say, "Oh, they can play a couple of years." It's sometimes better to play and leave when you're on your terms, not be, getting worse and worse and then leave. Kind of what's happening a little bit to Vera Coley, and even James Anderson's probably pushing the letter a bit too far. Yeah. This is a great point. Why they drop Jai Richardson, Nathan Ellis, and pick Sean Abbott to me is crap. He can bat a bit, yeah, but I don't think much of him. Jai Richardson's a better prospect. Yeah. Okay. Sahan Theory 200 will be a winning score for Sri Lanka, I guess. Well, based on the way Australia batted, I can see what you're saying. Stuart McGill did 2. Yeah. Yes, I've just got some on a box at the. So what else we got here? They're not picking Jason Zanger. I'm personally annoyed by that quite a bit because I think highly of Jason Zanger. I think he's potentially the next Australian captain. All sorts of superlatives I can give him. Agree. I didn't think the Bally selection was good. I hope Rishabh Pant to play more big time. Well, yeah, he's a bloody sensation. They don't. These days, some kind of batsman struggling badly against spin, not just foreign batsmen. Yeah, it's a point. It's a point. Agree. have a look here. No live coverage here in Australia. 5-1, we've got ODI over Ireland versus Australia. Oh, what's that? Matty Johns, bounce, golf, darts. No, I'm not showing anywhere. I'm a bit annoyed by that. No one these days sub-Conio, or I talked about it already, and I agree with you. Anyone of us is in here showing the replay of that. They should be showing us the bloody. Root struggles in ODIs against him, yeah. Hasn't been on all week. Yeah, that's true. We're a bit annoyed by that. How will you explain Steve Smith's batting technique? I don't know how. I won't even try because it's totally Steve Smith. I would never ever suggest anyone they should be doing the same thing. Norman, under Butler, England's white ball team is struggling at the moment. I think he is not a good captain. I think he is. I think he just needs to give it a bit of time. Oh, Morgan obviously been at the helm for quite a while. Josh Butler's got a great capability, don't worry. I wouldn't be underplaying what he can do. So, Rohit Sharma has been a very good captain for India. I think he's been a great selection. It'd be nice to see some sort of evidence of the game. I'm going to try and pinpoint this. I was trying to see if there's any. So Sri Lanka. There we go. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Nice, just give Butler a chance. He will find form. I agree, right? Some people make some mistakes. Anyway, okay, so Galle, Steve Smith is back foot playing technically very good. The Masters, he's all over the shop. He just gets away with it. He's just got this knack of getting. I wouldn't say he's technically perfect. Just knows how to get the bat in the right spot when it counts. Trying to find this day 3 bloody. Sri Lanka already started? They started earlier? I didn't think they did. They have. So Sri Lanka are actually leading by 1 for 41 now. They've scored 5 runs this morning, and they're 1 for 41. Effectively, they're some 45 runs in front. There we go. I didn't realise that. number one, I think Ben Stokes better captain than Butler. Perhaps. Yeah, I would kind of see. So Australia has a long vacation till August. That's not that long. It's less, just over a month. Australia has a long. No, they haven't. It's not long at all. Very frustrated. Marlon John has joined us, which I'm glad he's done that. But I'm just frustrated that we don't get to see any live coverage. Oh, they lost the second wicket, Sri Lanka have. It looks as though Carson is LBW bowled Mohammed Nawaz, and he's out. So their night watch was lasted about 5 seconds. So Sri Lanka are now 2 for 41. Robert is not delivering after being captain. I think he is. Now England test team doing well, but England's white ball team is struggling. Yeah, they have a bit of an adjustment to take place. They do. They've got a new captain too, and they haven't got Baz Ball leading them. They've got Matthew Motton, the captain of the Australian women's team. I don't know, but Trevor Hones is better selected than Bailey. Brendan Boyd. Yeah, he was in part, not in full. Clarion, okay. Lanka, Packer, saying West Indies need to get back to their strength of late 90s. I agree. They're far from the best team. It's their pathways, it's their performance. So Sri Lanka are 2 for 41 now. Australia Fernandez is still there. He'll probably be joined by Cushel Mendes, I would imagine. I'm going to have to do some stuff in a short while too, guys, as we may be not on for that much longer. But it's a great discussion point. Okay. Manu John, Tabasha Manu. India's winning at the moment, but they need Rohit Sharma. Virat Kohli runs in the T20 World Cup. India can't just depend on young Hardik Pandya, Surya Kumar, Yadav to score runs in every match. Okay, fair enough, Tabasha. So we got India flying to Windies. That's correct. Again, fairly unimportant. I shouldn't use the word unimportant, but they're. Someone wonder whether they're having at this stage. Yeah, India again also not full strength, are they? I'm Siraj bowled well in the last match, isn't he? I'm going to write an email. An email, what about, you might ask? Good question. To the best of my ability. So bear with me a minute, guys. Oh, 4, 8, 2, 8. Okay. So, no, when Indies should be playing ODI cricket, they can't even beat Bengals at the moment. That's sad. Kohli is kind of waiting one spot that he may pick up slowly. Let's wait. On when West Indies should stop playing. I've even mentioned that before. I can't. You can't stop them playing. Clarinet. Kohli should learn to bat long and domestic. Yeah, he just needs to stop nicking the ball. Being honest with you. Okay. So there's questions I'm trying to sort of Kohli should learn. Mastermind is normal. If Jofra Archer would not be fit for 2 World Cup, England will struggle. They got still got bowled. Mark Wood's another one they can also use. No, Virat Kohli past his best form at the moment. Don't accept the facts that they still think Virat Kohli will again make the bit. Yeah, he's not going to be back to his start normally best. You're right, but he'll get better. But how does someone Kohli take if he's playing for 5 years? Yeah, I don't know. I don't think West Indies Sri Lanka best also. Look, teams and squads go in cycles. I believe very strongly, so I wouldn't be too heavy on them. Brendan says Bailey should resign from selection panel. Yeah, I don't know whether it's necessarily his fault. If I'm being honest with you, this is the culture of Australian cricket still. Yeah. Unit. eventually. Used so Greg Colley's face. And the Colley's not going to West Indies, I believe. McDermott should be in there. Should be going the others. I think he should be there. Manu John Barrett, rest of the West Indies. That's what I said. Yep, same thing I said. All right, how are we going time wise? I've got to finish this now, guys. I think I might have to finish the broadcast unless you can bring up some relevant questions. Oh, God. All right. Coley is rested. No, he picked up. We'll leave him. No, I don't know. I think being rested may be a very good thing, guys. Okay. So against England is okay. Normally, if Finch struggling against Zimbabwe and now New Zealand, questions will be asked. They certainly will be. In fact, it's exposed him even more so. Good sign for India that they are winning without. Yep, agree. Kohli is rested, so now he can do more advertisements. I don't know, man. That's a bit hard. That's a bit tough. That's a bit hard. That's a bit tough. That's a bit tough. Comment. I want to read that. All right. So, Brendan, how seaside they are, it's like Joffre and Wood and Topley did a good, decent job. Yeah, So Robert M says it's reading Google. It's meant to be on Foxtel and KO in Australia. Well, it's not, is it? Very annoying. Let's double check that. Maybe they should be showing, shouldn't they? All right. Let's look at the score now. Let's get a score update. Sri Lanka at 2 for 46. Oshada Fernandez on 20 and Carlson Mendes is on 3. They're taking their time. 246, there's some 50 in front. Rather still steady as she goes, I would say. Yeah. Oshada Fernandez is another 2. The score's 2 for 48. The bowlers are Mohammad Nawaz and Shaheen's bowling as well. Not much happening. They're very steady as she goes, those things. Nothing too out of the ordinary. Any other questions, guys? I mean, really, Sri Lanka should win this test match. It's home ground. This is the third test in a row on that ground. Their spinners, as in Pranath Prabhath, Jayasuriya, is taking 3 5-wicket hauls. All guns are blazing, if you ask me. All guns are blazing. Livingston batted well for England too. The other Darwin is struggling a bit too. Well, he's probably someone who probably should retire. He's been great for a long time. Yeah. England white ball team struggling there, but they've got plenty of time. They've got Livingston, they've got Butler, they've got Stokes, they've got Bairstow, Root. I think they're still pretty damn quality. So I think the T20 World Cup, for example, we'll see Australia, India, Pakistan, and England being the 4 teams on form. That's what I would say. Adil Rashid, Chris Wokes is still injured. Adil Rashid certainly will come back into play. Mohamed Ali might come into play more so. Who's the other spinner they've got? Adil Rashid. Monty Pennis, I know he's a bit gone. Sri Lanka certainly, despite losing their night watchman, seem to be quite steady as she goes. That's right. Norman, what's the score now? The score is 2 for 49. Sri Lanka 2 for 49. And of course, Oshida Fernando, the opening batting replacement for Nasanka, is 25 not out. In fact, with 252, he's just at a 4. 252. Carlson Mendes is on 4. Yeah, they're 56 in front. 256. It's quite a steady start. Despite losing the night watchman, it's a pretty steady start. They've only been going for some 23 minutes of play, probably close to half an hour now. All right, guys. Any questions, anything you want to ask? Because we're going to be probably looking at a finishing up very soon. If you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, please do so. It would be nice if you just hit the button there and notification button. Okay. Devash was asking us, no one would World Cup in October, but India playing their best cricket at the moment. I think India peaking too early. No, they're not. They've got a lot left in their tank, trust me. As long as Pandya and the like are fit, and Bumrah for that matter too, and Siraj is there. No matter whatever they missed in bowling, things is that bowling was still good. The reason for their defeat was the failure of their reputed batting lineup. Okay. Babar Azam is just not stepping up off his accelerator. He's really class above. Joe Root, Babar Azam, class above. Bairstow's in good form too, and so was Sullivan Kawaja. All looking particularly good. Yes. Norman, it doesn't seem like Joe Root will play T20 again. Why? Well, it doesn't. If it is the case, it's a wise move. His Test career is probably the most important thing at the moment. So I would. England have got a lot of batters. They've got the Butlers, the Bairstows. They've got the, Liam Livingston coming through. The Sri Lankan team is weak, just like their economy. Well, their economy is very weak, and their political instability is very weak. But their team is good. They beat. How are you saying they're weak? How are you saying Manajan that Sri Lanka is weak? They've just smashed Australia. Dinesh Chandler getting a double century and Public getting 6 or 7 wickets in the last innings, and Australia could barely get 150. So no, I don't think they're weak at all. I just gave Australia one hell of a corralling. England have the white ball series because of bowling. David Willey is not international standard. Yeah, okay. Chris Wokes, Wood will come back. Wokes is doubtful. Arch is doubtful. Sri Lanka beat Australia and adios. Sri Lanka did pretty well. I think they did pretty well in the last series. Can't knock them, I'll tell you now. Nothing wrong with their. Amazing. Sri Lanka beat Australian ODI, but just out of rain-based luck. No. Why are you inviting Siddharth and Galle in your show? Why am I not inviting those people? Well, it's the time of day, and they've got jobs to do. Siddharth's got a job at the moment. He's working for Sports Day, and Gilly's got a big, huge warehouse to run, business to run. So their time is occupied this time of the day, unfortunately. So that's why they're not here. But we've got plenty of discussions going on, guys. We're quite fine. All right. Be nice to get a score update, which we will do right now. $255. Oshada Fernandez 25 and Castle Mendes is 7. So there are 59 runs in front. And Pakistan will certainly want to keep tabs on that total. Nolan, do you know if Stone is still injured for Australia? I believe he is. He is, yes. He is. I think he is. Australia last won a test series in Sri Lanka in 2011. Well, there you go. According to me, England bowlers did a good job despite missing big names. Yeah, I think they did. They'll get plenty back, and they'll be plenty better off. Australia can't qualify for the T20 World Cup. Why not? They won the last World Cup. They're and it's playing their home turf. That means they get in because it's based on their home turf, and they also get in because they won the damn thing last year. I like it, because you follow international cricket, not just Indian cricket. That these days, lots of YouTubers only follow Indian cricket because of viewers and subscribers. No, I follow all devices. Drawing down a test series isn't a big thing. They got to win it. What do you mean, money? $2.59 now. Carson Mendes on 11. Osher Fernandez on 25. The $2.59, the 63 in front, going along quite steadily there. All right, I'm going to leave you guys now. Keep watching into the future. We'll see how this day pans out. We might come back later if it gets interesting, but certainly on tomorrow as well. So all this, guys. Talk to you soon.